Hi again, everyone. Nathaniel here, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of my takeaways and reviews of the 2021-2022 state budget from Governor Newsom's office. So, as a brief discussion overview, I will be taking a look at the priorities that I chose from the budget update, which include the COVID-19 response for both individuals and helping out small businesses, as well as the expanded educational budgetary allocations as well. And I'll also be looking at how the budget kind of changed through the May revision and then the final approved budget. And then I'll just kind of give a brief overview of the current budget status as it stands. So there were two priorities from the governor's budget update that I wanted to focus on, and those two were COVID-19 relief as well as the education as well. And so for COVID-19 relief, there was about $14 billion that was going straight towards the response funds for the COVID-19 pandemic. And this included $3.5 billion, which was directly going towards low-income individuals in the form of stimulus payments. You might have remembered when these came out earlier this year, I think there was $600. And there was also about 2.06 billion that was also placed for small businesses. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. The safe reopenings was also kind of a expansion of funds from the COVID-19 relief. It was to help with especially schools, but also local businesses with reopening safely and providing safety supplies and cleaning supplies, so that way all of these businesses and schools could reopen safely in a way that would mitigate the spread of the pandemic. And then also K through 12 expansion was a big priority in Governor Newsom's budget, with a record for California of $85.8 billion in general funds from Prop 98 being designated for that purpose alone. So the school fundings were intended for extending learning times and also expanding on summer school programs, so that way kids could make sure that they were getting their subjects completed in school, and all effort was going towards helping students not just get through the pandemic, but also to thrive in their educational goals as well. So let's look at some of the changes that happened with the revised May budget. So Prop 98 funding was expanded for K through 12 education to $93.7 billion for now and for future budget plans for educational purposes. And this was a small increase of about 9%, I think, from the original $85.8 billion that was put towards students in K through 12 education. So a lot of money going to students in public schools. There's also an expansion, a drastic one actually, in the economic stimulus payments of $600 that were expanded to include more people in moderate to middle class incomes. So I think the budget book said that about 5.7 million households were being assisted with the original planned stimulus payments, and this would be bumped up to more than 2/3 of the entire population of California. So a really huge increase in stimulus payments for individuals in low and moderate incomes households as well. And there was also an additional $1.5 billion that was advanced towards small businesses in the form of what was later turned out to be like CARES Act funds and other federal packages that were issued from the federal government in DC that were going towards helping small businesses recover with business grants and loans, and also cleaning supplies for COVID-19 as well. And so the approved budget, there wasn't much to change from the May revision, just a further amendment and approval of the Prop 98 funding of $93.7 billion for school. And then also the economic stimulus payments were pushed forward as well. And in total, I think that the original or total amount of money that was going towards the pandemic response for stimulus payments was about $7.6 billion. And then also in total, to wrap up, there was about $4 billion that was going towards small business recovery in the form of business grants for this budget year. And so, taking a comprehensive look at the final amended state budget for California, there is about $262.5 billion in total state funds, and approximately about $196.4 billion of those was coming from the general fund, and the rest of the money was special funds and also bond funds going towards some of the extra expenditures and added programs due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And so all in all, a lot of increases in education expenses, and then big payments that were going towards individuals and small businesses and just the economy in general recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic. So those were my takeaways from the budget review of California, and I'm looking forward to this week's discussion and chatting money with you guys.